that one up first, of course. Sejuani leaving as well. A Kali ban, I find.
Will I be covering any of the EDG games?
Perhaps. KT might not have
Perhaps.
to actually ban it, given their ability.
I do love some EDG.
Really nice.
For me, I agree, and this is the first ban I expect to see go in case that something doesn't work out, or we get a side swap or a swap selection in the second game or in the third game. But it makes a little bit of sense because the TF is a known quantity, and I do think there's drafts that TF can really struggle with if you pick what necessarily has to do. But the karma is still open here. And
so's Annie.
Yeah, Annie first pick.
Still 100% win rate here.
Interesting that KT's prioritizing this over the karma.
Play the Ash Zeri on a sort of unavoidable the Zyra Rakan, which we
and Viego and Annie.
Viego.
So
I don't know about
the rise of Viego. Interestingly,
relied upon pretty extensively.
Or
do not forget.
Draven.
I don't think that makes it through the LFC.
Lulu.
Here, and it also. Ooh, I didn't even consider that. We haven't seen any support. I do think.
So the Jax ban against KT, pretty common. Talia also very common for BDD.
Sort of like get on. Be a mid laner or a support.
Renekton. I think they're just hovering the Zoe because that's a BDD classic.
Oh, the Blitzcrank. Okay. Well, if you just want to start fights, if you just want to make the Lulu's life difficult, then just pick Blitzcrank, I guess. That sounds great. All right. And this is going to really mess with Humble Life Esports and their game plan, because now KT's Wrecking Ball can just move towards them. If you ever land one of those hooks, someone dies.
Oh, I would have loved the Ornn here, but Kingen not wanting to...
yeah, didn't expect the Xayah Blitz lane.
And I also think Cassandra actually, into the Blitzcrank specifically, Cassandra is one of the few champions.
Yeah, you
can
stand in front of him pretty happily.
Yeah, and then you get hooked, and then you just take one of the champions that are available as a now position. Indicates a range.
It's been a while since we've seen the old Blitzcrank.
If you're
going to be able very, very loud. Checking it out, Lahens getting into position for a potential hook. If you've ever played League of Legends before, ever, you'll know that if you have a Blitzcrank, you invade. They haven't done a lot of invading so far.
So we'll see how this lane works. Obviously, I thought, with the Xayah, obviously they'd be going for some lane dominance versus the Zeri.
Things that you can do into Blitz specifically and into a lot of hook champions is just 5-stack on the first rush. And then if they don't sweep it and like walk in looking for a pick, you can actually catch them off guard. Because a lot of the value for Blitz, most notably, does come from the fact that he's able to isolate a target.
Panda Tibbers. We had Franken Tibbers, and now we've got Panda Tibbers. I'm actually kind
of... So KT's definitely running a more pick composition with the Annie, the Xayah, and the Blitz. Needless to say, they want to take out one target with an Annie stun and a Blitz hook. Hold on just a second, guys. Hold on. My wife needed to ask me if she could get some Taylor Swift tickets on the secondhand market. That's what it was worth interrupting this banger for, guys.
And highlights what we already said. All
right.
Is looking to play this proactively. Doesn't scale nearly as well as a lot of the other runes.
To be fair, they were reasonably priced.
If you can give some pushback to the KT early game.
Well, first hook is going to miss.
10K. No, $300 a ticket. Actually was not crazy bad.
Just has a lot of control.
And she really wanted those tickets, and she was one of the people who couldn't get tickets in the initial sale because of the Ticketmaster fiasco.
Here in the mid lane, BDD and Zeka just fighting in.
So.
Fighting one another.
Yeah, I agree. 300 ticket, I think, is very reasonable.
Fine. BDD taking the shield first, just for those easier trades with the autos, as Viper just going to skate on in there. And yeah, KT gonna struggle in the early stages with this Blitzcrank. We'll see whether Lehens can actually find some of these big plays with the hooks later on.
Yeah, also do have the jungle path towards the bot side for them, so Kaz is on his way. And, ooh, Lehens doing some sweeping here.
Oh, there's
what?
the hook, gonna connect onto life there. That's a bit of an uppercut. But otherwise isn't.
Surprised they were standing in a position where that was possible. All right, well, good early zoning from Viper and Life.
Ooh, very early back here. Viper and Life trying to make sure that they keep their health bars full. And there is no vision of them, so they do. Hanwha probably should be able to, yeah, just get away with a free back here. Aiming and Lehens not going to be aware, and that's a call. Picks up early, so nice little play there from Viper and Life. Should be able to make their way back to the wave. As we can see, like, wave hasn't been shoved in yet. So Viper's
I like these new styles of compositions that we're seeing in the LCK around Viego, because we've now kind of pivoted back to where we were last spring with some of these reset comps where you really just want to have a high amount of burst. Like the synergy Viego and Annie is also really strong. And Viego Renekton, like you have basically single target CC potential in every single one of your lanes. So Cuz has a lot of opportunities to be active on the map.
They're going to go for their own back, but it looks like Hanwha are going to be able to hold this wave.
I mean, HLE obviously has the stronger team fight in a conventional sense, like front to back and scaling, but KT, it's just like the pick comp they played in their third game against Gen G with the Twisted Fate, where every single member of that composition had single target CC as well, and they played it super well. I really like the way they played that game, and they built the comp around Chovy's Akali, so this is a similar principle. Maybe this is just a new style that KT is going to be operating on. They just don't team fight you. Which is interesting because they've been that scaling team, right? Okay, well, he's just dead.
Even though there's an exhaust, I don't think they're tired enough to not kill the Lulu.
Here and a hook can mean devastation.
Yeah,
I mean, the setup's just crazy, right? It's just the hook is just free.
Even though there's an exhaust, I don't think they're tired enough to not kill the Lulu. They'll grab first blood and Cleared has to get out.
Nicely done there. Cuz being the big difference maker, because if that
it's just free
works out, like the bot lane is going to be really far behind. Not going to be the case because of Cuz sneaking in his way after his back towards that bot side.
Do you know what I'm really scared about, Chronicler? It's the fact that if, like, there are so
why isn't there a cancel culture for egregiously priced concert tickets? Well, there have been congressional hearings about the Taylor Swift ticket sales, so I would say that people are pretty mad.
We haven't even seen the easiest
like the government's getting involved now.
Oh man, because look at this.
It's the freest blitz hook of all time, guys.
So easy.
Yeah, there's no counterplay to that one. As nicely done there by Cuz is going to start him off as Life has to run for his life. Zeka picks up a lost chapter here, but that first rake definitely going to go over, and this is to be expected, as we have mentioned before. But yeah, it really, like, I really like KT's composition. I think it is a composition that needs to somewhat snowball. Not even because of the champions not scaling that well, like Xayah, Annie, I think, remain very powerful. Even Blitzcrank, in a way, can have a very high pick to the later stage of the game. But I do think their composition relies very much on having control of the map.
Yeah.
And that is the big thing to me, and why I'm happy to see them get this early Drake, pick up an early gold lead, is because once they do seize control, fighting on even footing becomes very, very tough. But right now, they're doing a great job.
I actually don't think they need to seize control. They actually played the pick comp that they played into Gen G very well, in that they didn't take unnecessary risks early, and a lot of the narrative from the casters in that game was that, oh, they haven't used the Twisted Fate ult yet, when they didn't really need to do that. They just had to find the picks later on and just never fight the 5v5, and this is very similar. Like, you don't need an early advantage. You just need better vision control. And you just need to play for the picks. The advantage of taking the early Drake is mostly because now you have more wiggle room. Now you have more wiggle room to make decisions down the line that make sense around your composition. You're not forced into a 5v5, so if you can't actually pick them off before they group, or you can't isolate somebody, then you can just give up the Drake. It gives you more optionality, basically.
any
with this
fight
style of
that
composition.
does arise around an early objective. Because with PTA in particular, as Cloud will hit 6 off of that Grom.
Who is the main target of the pick comp? It doesn't matter.
Right? Like you need
they can burst anybody.
And counteract, and they have the
I mean, just between like Annie and Renekton, Viego, and Blitz, like somebody's gonna die.
Even Zeka isn't too bad, but look at the vision control as well towards the bot side of the map. Right, like there is a ward there at the tribe.
Here we go.
Well, we're just gonna dash forward. We're going to snatch Zeka, and he is not going anywhere. Yep, that's flash hook.
It do be like that.
Yep.
We mentioned that we hadn't seen
I really love this. Lahens is playing very well
well, that's how
with this Blitzcrank. I mean, just these little plays. Like, yeah, you have to use summoners, but you're getting the kills, right? Flash, hook, straight into a Viego stun. Super good setup.
And he is not going anywhere. Yep, that's flash hook.
Perfect.
That's what's gonna happen.
Yep.
We mentioned that we hadn't seen how this is going to work with the Annie. Well, that's how it works with the Annie. She stuns someone and they die.
Everything works with Annie.
It does.
Oh, aiming isn't sick.
Well,
he does.
He's got ult.
He does hit level 6 though, as Featherstorm is going to be used. Life almost just dies. If he had have called back the blades, there is now.
He's got hook.
Yeah, he's just,
he doesn't have hook. He has no mana. He has no mana.
Featherstorm is going to be used. Life almost just dies. If he had have called back the blades, there is.
Oh, come on.
He wants to let the kill go over. Oh, but he doesn't actually die. Life is going to
I don't think he had the mana to hook.
Almost able to be salvaged.
Oh, he had Ignite as well.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a...
He just assumed he was dead.
That
is going to be there to... Almost just dies. If he had have called back the blades, there is now Lahens. Yeah, it's just...
Yeah, if he had ignited, he would have gotten the kill most likely.
Oh, but he doesn't actually die. Life is going to be there to save
Well,
him.
actually, never mind. The ignite would have just been cleansed. JK.
He had Ignite as well.
Yeah.
Ignite would have just been cleansed.
That was a...
So, whatever.
He just assumed he was dead. Wanted to give the kill to aiming.
Very precarious for Hanwha, because if Viper dies there, if they don't get aiming...
They would have just cleansed the ignite.
Because on the top half of the map, Cuz is actually able to get himself the early Herald. So, they make it work. Viper lives.
I mean, I think he wanted to give the kill to aiming, yeah, but also the ignite would have been cleansed, and yeah, he may not have actually had enough mana for the hook either. Hook takes a lot of mana. On first tick, no, it wouldn't have been enough. That's not enough. He has like 75 HP right there.
It does. Wants to let the kill go over. Oh, but he doesn't actually die. Life is going to be there to save him. Oh, man, that was almost able to be salvaged.
Bad. It's okay. It doesn't actually matter that much. Thank you, SSJBB, for the Bezos bucks. The rest of you could learn a thing or two from this fine gentleman, SSJBB.
If they don't get aiming, you might lose the game off of that play, because on the top half of the map, Cuz is actually able to get himself the early Herald. So they make it work. The Viper lives, picks up a kill, and that call is going to be...
Yeah, guys, look up how much mana Hook is. I think it might be a 120 at level 1.
Early game. Not looking too hard here for Hanwha. And if Lahens just goes for the ignites and just make sure that the kill is secured...
Yeah. I think that things would have been much more dire for Hanwha if they hadn't have been able to get that. But thankfully for them, they were. And so
who do you most want to see at MSI for the excitement? JDG, EDG, Genji, D1, D2, Vitality, FlyQuest, Cloud9.
Because what else can you do?
It's 100, okay. So it's 100 at level 1.
If he hits level 6 on the recall and he can cancel the Vital...
Or it's 100 flat.
You're fine. Oh, man, yeah, Lahens going to be beating himself up for that one. 100% could have gotten the kill there. But as you point out, did want to give over the kill to aiming, because if that happens, then, yeah, you probably are able to accelerate the game.
I mean, it's okay. You got a Herald for it. Like, they made a play into the bot side, and they killed aiming, but that's all they got, right? They didn't even get a plate, and you got Herald, and there's the Herald right now. And it's going to be a cover for your second Drake take, so it's a totally fine sacrifice to make. Like, yes, you would have loved to have traded that back, but it's not like it's bad. Uh-oh, PD has no flash. Scrolling.
No, he's just dead. Viper actually able to grab an assist for that one as well. Huge for Hanwha Life. And
already?
KT just kind of all on different pages, I guess.
Yeah, it must have been a miscommunication with the team because they were 100% of that movement as, ooh, I thought they were going to try and catch Viper, hence maybe a blind hook. Not going to be the case as Viper just goes in.
All right, aiming does have feathers.
Wow.
And can pull back these feathers.
Savage Keeper 7, a tier 1 subscription.
I like the gusto.
Thank you, my erudite friend, for your contributions to this stream.
Say, like, are they gonna try and look for another play here?
What happened to the 9s? Was it a mutual split? I guess they just stopped doing it. I don't know. Maybe it was like sponsored by AT&T. Maybe AT&T didn't want to do it anymore. I never asked.
Is going to lock down the kill. He can now vault break over that wall if you'd like to, but Life is going to slink away.
And in the previous play, it was KT not being on the same page. Here it's Hama, like
Dozy Pokes, thank you for the Twitch Prime sub. That's very nice of you. I mean, come on, man.
From this Zeri player.
You see him in the brush. There might be a ward there over the wall. He's playing Blitzcrank. Like, there's a lot of odds that that's going to be... And he pulls him out of the queue, too, so it resets his queue.
There's the cease and desist. Blitz trying to get out of there. Wild growth. He's ignited them, and Cuz is going to lock down the
I have to
kill.
get away because is Vi. And they actually get the Drake.
And in the previous play, it was KT.
I just remember the studio being put together and COVID hit, and you guys never really got to use it. Yeah, that was a bummer. I don't even know if Cloud9 still has that office, like that whole project, because there was a big office they had that was associated with that, and that all just got like iced by COVID. It was bad.
As Lahenz is walking, well, floating with that particular skin. Very strange one, but I like it. As let's see this one again. He puts the bear down. And the team was moving.
I mean, BDD, buddy, you don't have flash. You just used it to kill Zeka in mid lane. Like, come on.
But even then,
everybody's just fiending.
Obviously great. But what I want to highlight is the kind of disjointed nature. The key
what is Hamo Life doing?
That ward is down. So they think that they have the time to set this up, and then
no,
eventually you get the cancel.
You have to assume that there could be a ward there.
They need to pull the trigger very early on, and then by the time Life gets there, like you flashing over.
That's all right, guys. Nothing ever happened because there was a Fed Viego in a game.
It was also rotating, so BDD would have been able to join that earlier. And
love the content, Monty. Been following you since your OGN days with Doa. Aw, thanks, man. That's very kind of you.
Although I think if you're a Blitzcrank,
my first and only sub. Oh, what a touching subscription.
Yeah.
You saved your sub virginity just for me.
Even if Humble Life's composition gets towards the later stage of the game.
Yeah, you don't actually really
any advice into getting into esports content besides just streaming? Just make it. Find something that's unique and just make it. Just do it.
No, but they are very happy for
Stop farting around and just do it.
More opportunity to set up those traps. I like that. It feels like, you know, you get soul after 2 Drakes.
Harrylicious, thank you for your Twitch Prime sub.
I like your optimism.
Yeah. I am a half full kind of guy. As Viper, gonna have to skate away from that one. Still did more damage.
I don't know if it's just me, but it feels like Riot never does anything if it's not shining a bad light upon them. I mean, I don't. Just as an aside, guys. So we all saw with our eyes how Danny was behaving on stream in those playoffs, where it was like, wow, this guy looks like really, emotionally wrecked. This behavior seems to be highly abnormal. You would have thought that Riot, when that was happening in their studio, would have been like, something's probably wrong here, considering everybody with eyes could tell that something was going wrong on the stream, and we weren't even there.
That initial play, but he should be all right. Only down a bit of CS. And the Annie is still going to have a stun. Things like that.
I'm sorry, it was just extremely obvious.
Here as well is the difference in playstyles. Life has been with Viper in the general vicinity for the
But instead, of course, Riot just doesn't investigate themselves, lets other people investigate for them, and then declares an investigation after the fact.
Zeka can't really walk up or try to contest or play aggressive as long as he doesn't know where Lahenz is. That's an issue that's going to continue, as Klid does have his ult available again. I love that we get like every 2 minutes we go to top and we're like, yeah, still nothing happening.
It still exists.
It's still there.
Yep. Just confirming that in fact it is somewhere on the map.
It is a realm that is on Summoner's Rift.
It is there. It is definitely.
I mean, Riot should just stop running the LCS, in my opinion, and not kill the LCS, but like give it to somebody else to run.
I think a few of the plates, or at
Because
least one of them,
they just don't need to be involved in this mess, and they're bad at it. So just get them out.
for KT.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they
Just give it to somebody else to operate.
We saw it in a replay, and that's when they
give it to ESL.
No, they heralded mid. Oh, is that the second herald? No,
what do I think the best Renekton build is at the moment? It depends on what you're trying to do. I think Prowler's Claw, if you're going to be split pushing and in certain compositions, is fine. I think Gore Drinker can also be fine, depending on if you're going to be hitting a lot of melees with it, or actually in team fights. I think Prowler's Claw is probably better in this composition that KT's running, but he's going Gore Drinker. What are you doing? Hanwha, please! What are you doing? So Hanwha doesn't need to fight this. They don't need to fight for second herald. You don't need to throw the game. Like, you just don't have to be here. With this composition, Zeka is just alone in the backline getting flashed on by Annie again. They have the Annie flash timer. They know that Flash Tibbers is up. Right? And then there's the feathers. Zeka's trying to get out.
He's blown up immediately, but now KT trying to regroup, aiming, taking her down though, is now Keen in an awkward spot, but does press the Dominus, gets a bit of a stun there as the hook is going to connect onto...
I mean, they go in, but this Viego is incredibly strong.
But now KT trying to regroup, aiming, taking so much damage as Featherstorm going to have to be used pretty early on. And now Cuz looking to try and find his way out.
Also, they walk into the Renekton.
In order to escape. And there he goes. But Rift Herald,
I was promised a Dilf gamer. Why is he wearing a shirt? Well, I can't take off my shirt unless I go to the pool streaming thing, right? The hot tubs and pools.
Really big mistake there from Clid. Can't just get 100-0 there because, as mentioned before, if any point of CC lands, you will die. You know, there is not a lot of counterplay here, and he just gets Renekton stunned into die.
Hashtag Dilf Gaming.
Damage, and you can see if he can like use an ultimate here to try and take down aiming, for example, they can win this fight 100%. But with him getting 100-0, there is no recompense. And the immediate start of the fight looking really good here. This is also Clid going for a Sunderer, so this is very much a more damage-oriented build that, as of right now, isn't really working out.
I really disagree with Clid going Sunderer here. I think he should definitely be going Righteous Virtue, or Radiant Virtue, rather.
It does kind of feel like all eggs are in the Zeka.
His purpose is to provide value in team fights, because that's where Hanwha Life is going to win. Right? He needs survivability here.
Alright. I come through. Look at the control though. Look at all the wards. I'm able to grab
KT always does this, by the way. This is the KT play. Every time you're gonna see, every time they go to like a Drake fight, they always buy a lot of control wards. They're one of the best teams at doing this, although you just saw Hanwha also doing that. But if you come out of this, I mean, look at this. Renekton's going to go back and buy a control ward. They had one here, 2 onto Viego. KT's very good. If you actually just look at KT's warding statistics, we'll check it. We haven't actually looked at it in a little bit. Let's see here. They don't buy a lot of wards, but their wards efficiency was very good. Control wards per minute. Yeah, they're actually down towards the bottom, but they're middle of the pack with wards cleared per minute. D plus Kia loves their control wards right now. The crazy thing is Gen G. Look at this. Look at this. Gen G, control wards per minute, lowest. Wards cleared per minute, highest. Their efficiency is crazy. This is the secret Gen G sauce, by the way. That's the secret Gen G sauce. Their jungle percentage, they take more of the minions, right? Like KT has a higher lane percentage, but they have a very low jungle percentage. So Gen G's up here, second in lane percentage, but Gen G just comes and pillages your jungle and clears your vision. And that's one of their keys to their macro success. KT really only buys during Drakes, is the thing, or objectives. They don't buy a lot of control wards otherwise, but they actually have some of the best river control warding in the game, so you'll just watch it right here. This is the KT class that they'll just create a ring of wards,
Basket.
which is perfect for these kind of compositions they run. I think it these style of compositions, like we've seen them in this game and the one they ran against Gen G, are very, very nice with their play style around vision and their emphasis on these ward timings.
Look at all the reeds. I mean, there's grass everywhere. My hands could be all over this map. Thankfully, there is this ward standing over here.
Might just give it up. Yeah, you might just say this soul doesn't matter.
Well, Keen is on the flank. Is Cuz looking to move in as well. They do manage to take the turret down, as now Teleport is going to come forward. B2D. Stun prep, no flash. As Shirley pops down, does cram her skull into the outer turret in mid lane. And Kingen, oh, the hook again going to be absorbed. And this is what we mentioned earlier on.
This is good. This is a good sequence by Hanwha so far.
Sort of just stand in front and either use it as
this is good. This is, you know, this is where you can give up the Drake if you don't get the pick if you're KT. Like this sequence where they got their tier 1 turret knockdown, HLE neutralized the Rift Herald, and now they're actually inside the river as 5 is a good sequence of play for them. And KT doesn't have to take this if they don't want to, because remember, they don't have flash up on Tibber, so they need to really fish for a hook. Keen is also at 50% HP and doesn't have TP up, so I feel like KT probably should just give this up. Unless they get a good blitz hook.
Scuttler is going to be secured there by Cuz. As we thought we were fighting for the Drake, we weren't. We were fighting for Shellfish. As more extendo beams over and over again into this brush.
Gain on the flank angle.
I really like how Hanwha is sort of moving up their phalanx with.
I think they should just take bot tier 1. KT doesn't have to get this. It's okay.
Now,
they lost their opportunities and their timing window isn't really open.
The dive forward, there's the bear, it connects onto Clid, who's so squishy like you were talking about. The Emperor's Divide is decent, but the jungler is already dead. Tibber's in the front line, tanking them all up.
I can't believe this worked.
Knowing their flanks. Now, B2D in that
they should have just finished the Drake.
And we actually lock down this dragon.
Like, he gets stunned, Cassante gets stunned by the Viego instantly, and Clid just gets exploded by Tibbers.
Like you were talking about, the Emperor's Divide is brush in position. Can we actually lock down this dragon? As the dive forward, there's the bear.
I mean, another problem that we haven't actually talked about is that HLE's engage is super bad outside of Vi, and if Vi dies, they don't have any more engage really. Unless they want to commit to an Azir shuffle, which probably is not a great plan. Especially because he doesn't have stopwatch yet. I mean, the thing is, Clid's build is bad. He needs to be the one, he's the primary form of engage on this team, and he has Sunderer. He needs Radiant Virtue.
It must feel so frustrating for Hanwha. Position, you get stunned. Actually, it's already dead. Tibber's in the front. The dive forward, there's the bear, it connects onto Clid, who's so squishy like you were talking about. The Emperor's Divide is decent, but the jungler is already dead. Tibber's in the front. The dive forward, always playing around these control wards, knowing their flanks. Now, B2D in that brush, in position. Can we actually lock down this dragon? As the dive forward, there's the bear, it connects onto Clid, who's so squishy like you were talking about. The Emperor's Divide is decent, but the jungler is already dead. Tibber's in the front line.
Feels so bad.
4v5 now.
Yeah, I think you have to peace out.
I think this is really different if he has Radiant Virtue.
They don't even have the health bar advantage that they need in KT. Getting a big win
like, you know the purpose of what they're doing is to burst you. In what world are you going to get value out of Divine Sunderer?
Especially for Clid, who just wants
they will just explode you. You will not be able to proc Divine Sunderer more than one time. Even once might be generous in that case, right?
I think Keen might be dead. He doesn't have Dominus. Oh, Zeka doesn't want to risk it. Doesn't have any vision towards the bottom half of the map, but as mentioned, I think Kingen actually does a decent job of setting up here. Keen needs to be respected, of course, but yeah, like, he gets 100-0, right? Like, he tries to go for a desperation ult there, and it's the power of Annie again. And this is why we see the Annie bans. It's just ridiculous right now. Much rather be a vibe with Radiant Virtue, right? Like, we're getting to the point. Isn't Sunderer good into tanks? Yes, but she needs to live. She needs to engage. And that already is a huge stretch. So you're working on node
like, if she dies like that, then you have no more engage. That's it. Your engage is over.
think KT are doing an expert job here at just playing up patiently.
Unless you really commit to the Azir shuffle, but that's a terrible idea. You'll just get CC'd in the back line.
Yeah.
So like on a Baron that's about to spawn, on any kind of still.
The reason why you itemize Divine Sunder on Vi is because you think you're going to be in like 1v1s or these small skirmishes where you're going to get consistent value out of proccing Sunder multiple times. If you're just going to team fight, you might as well just have, you know, Black Cleaver, Radiant Virtue.
Some of the fights from Klid, I think, have just not been played that well by him. But let's not forget, like,
he also rushed Sunderer, which is insane. It's actually just insane.
Pretty great. And then Cuz was ahead of him, was already in the brushes, already waiting.
And then he... Why does he have Greaves? I guess because of Viego, but I think he needs the tenacity to survive any burst.
Yeah, that's how we've been going recently. The amount of caster curses have actually just been almost not okay, to the point where we might actually get called into an office later on for people to have a discussion. As KT, they want to kill Kingen. He's been really, really good at like using the unstoppable to avoid these hooks. But now it's on cooldown, so Lehen's gonna miss his hook. There it goes.
Oh, Kingen. Very nicely done there. Dashes out of the way.
Yeah, big brain.
No, HLE doesn't need more upfront damage.
Fighting Keen here towards the bottom side and is actually doing a very, very good job.
Atlas, you know what we haven't talked about yet?
What?
Is Lehen's his build?
Oh.
It's Everfrost.
For the Ultra CC?
It's Everfrost Blitz.
That's actually smart.
Doesn't Lehen's build Everfrost Lux every single time as well?
Oh, Lehen's loves Everfrost, yeah.
Yeah, I think he just likes Everfrost. He's like, but I could have more like CC and buttons to press in my kit. Like, why would I?
Yeah, I think the Everfrost is interesting.
What's that about?
But I think it's really good because again, the entire purpose of this composition is just to lock a single target down and burst them. So it gives you another tool to make sure that you get enough time to kill them. I think it's really, really good. You know, you're not the main purpose of this composition is to control vision and get a pick, not to 5v5. So you want to maximize your win condition, right? Because you're just not going to beat Azir and Zeri in the late game anyway. So go for the CC.
Well from tanky stats, but all the power to you. If you want to build Everfrost on your Alistar and you're going to make it work,
you have Atlas's approval.
Absolutely. That's not something that's all that valuable, just to let you guys know. But still, I also think that Rageblade Skarner is really cool. Huge fan of that as well.
Okay, I know you're joking with that one.
No, that was my first build. When Skarner first came out, I played Trinity Force, Rageblade every single game.
Oh, okay, yeah, but that was what, Season 2?
Well, whenever it came out, yeah, I think it was Season 2. But it didn't really work, but it was still really fun. When his, like, auto-attack animation is that fast, a little scorpion, oh man, so good.
I'm just happy you were happy.
I was really happy. I was having a great time.
In about 50 seconds, Homo Life is going to have to go for a big fight if they don't want to give over the soul.
Unpopular opinion, I think if HLE bought Scout instead of Zeka, they would be a better team. I think that's a very popular opinion. Scout might be the MVP of LPL right now. He's looking great.
Viper can carry some of these fights if he is given the space and if KT throw a lot of damage into Klid or Kingen.
That's a dead Lulu.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
45 seconds before Dragon, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, they're doing a great job of setting up these picks, you gotta say. Have the mid lane ward already set up. There he is, isolated. Flash, aiming's right there on the flank. You have Blitzcrank just in case. Blitzcrank zoning people out. Flash being a... You know, if Lulu somehow manages to flash out of this, you have the Blitz there. Really good pick. Now it's just a free soul, right?
Fireworks on his back?
Yeah. Having a good time. That's a nice skin. Anyway, he's gonna run away.
Smart. Try and force the Baron while Lulu comes back up.
Vision there.
Oh, we'll get spotted.
But
is this gonna be
doesn't really matter. You can just send Viego there. It's a 4 versus 4 at the Baron until Lulu comes around.
Tibbers, Annie.
Yeah, and also Renekton's on his way.
Yeah.
If
he's just free.
Doesn't like
Tibbers.
I assume that ward was placed after Kingen TP'd in because if not, then you know I'm pretty sure the ping would have cancelled it.
By the way, Tibbers was the one guy that pressed yes on the should we do Baron call, and just went over there, started doing Baron.
Yeah. He's a very dependable teammate.
100%. But does, you know, when he wants to do something, he just goes and does it, you know? As, oh dear, there's the hook. Waits for the W, and Kingan knew that it was
just
happening
over.
as well. He's like, if I just keep holding it, I'll be fine, right? But doesn't actually happen. And so there is another pick. And this is what the KT comp loves to do, right?
I love this new style that we're seeing from KT. I'm glad that they've broken the mold of their previous compositions that were like Zeri, Lulu, scaling Azir. It's not that I didn't enjoy them winning on that. It's that I like to see the variety that they're throwing out right now.
It's critical mass as well, where every single champion has a way to enable hard CC.
Yeah.
Every single one.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about.
I just want Keen to win.
And
yeah, Mean Dean. Me too. I'm a Keen enjoyer.
Isn't CC'd. No matter who he's hanging out with.
I'm a BDD hater and a Keen enjoyer. That's me.
Because that's painful.
I have a bit of a cold today, guys, so sorry if I'm a bit low energy.
Egregious?
Well, you knew where I was going, Atlas. You know me well, because it is.
Yeah.
Out of all these champions, all of them have some form of conditional. Renekton, Viego, or melee. Xayah needs setup. But
Esther is 2-0 on it over the last 2 weeks.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
As even if you like flash over the Warriors King, I think you never get away. Unfortunately, gets caught off guard there, and
I'm a little out of it.
Yeah, Zekai hits his 2-item power spike. Viper is.
But I don't know if we're gonna get to the EDG games today, guys. We might just have to stop with the 5 games that we've got on the stream title.
They can steal if they can get.
Rotate my antibodies, dude. I'm trying. Need them to rotate faster. The antibodies have some LCS macro right now.
They can win, but you're kind of grasping at straws there because KT have so much control that even walking up to any objective is probably going to be met with.
I like the glowing red Renekton eyes in the brush.
Blitzcrank hook.
Yeah.
Or a crocodile, and all of those are bad.
Yep. A cat-powered fist is a very scary thing to face check. It's such a it's a wacky skin.
I love that Blitzcrank.
It's such a wacky.
Stupid kids giving me diseases. I get way more colds than I used to. Thanks, child in daycare. What do I think about the anti-blitz combo? Seems pretty sick.
5,000 gold.
Seems pretty sick. I love the way KT's playing. Let's go single target CC pick compositions. Everyone has single target CC. This is what KT did to Gen G in Game 3 of their Series 2. Anyone can set up or perpetuate the play.
And Hanwha are doing their Hanwha thing, right? Which is, we will just now wait. As long as you will let us.
Osmosis Jones. Man, there's a throwback reference.
I really am going to continue questioning every time I see a Sejuani instead of any ban on that side. Because
worked in a daycare for a year, drove a bunch of kids to activities. Never in my life did I have colds this often. Yeah, but you know, you're also making your own immune system stronger. I will actually say that I haven't gotten a cold in a while. So it was really just like his first year of daycare where I got all of the colds and hand, foot, and mouth disease. And then after that, I've been like a tank. You know, I didn't get any of the garbage viruses that went around that a lot of people got recently.
Oh, KT.
This is the KT that we saw 2-0 Hanwha Life earlier on.
And he's still 100% winning Korea. Yeah, I mean, the flex pick is also just very strong, right? With a well-coordinated team, the free stuns are really something else. This game is over.
Look at it. It's perfect. It's a buddy cop movie that you love to, or was it buddy comedy? Is that a genre? Like I think it is. The road trip.
Yeah.
Buddy comedy. That you love to watch?
Maybe it's like The Other Guys. Have you seen that movie?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Loved it.
Kind of that. Give me that.
That's Lahans and Cuz.
Yeah.
But who's Will Ferrell? I feel like Lahans is Will Ferrell, right? Like he has.
Wasn't Annie always like this though? What changed her so much to be played now? I mean, she got massive buffs, dude.
He's retired.
I like that.
Her shield is so much better.
Because he's like the super cool guy.
He is.
And the fact that her Q stun resets when you go back to Fountain or at the start of the game also makes her a very, very big threat during level 1s. And also Rod of Ages. is back. So it's like, you know, the same thing could be said to a certain degree about Gragas. Like, people are just rediscovering the Rod of Ages champions in mid lane.
He's not going to be able to do that either. KT just not giving Hanwha any options this game whatsoever. I feel like they're getting a similar treatment.
The game question for you, is it better to aim at the feet of a champ, the head of a champ, or middle of a champ for skill shots? I don't know, man. I ain't got no mechanics.
One of these situations where Hanwha were just never allowed to scale to
I have no idea.
the game where they
It probably depends on different champions for the hitboxes.
For snowballing the early game the way he did.
100%. There's a flash from Clid very preemptively, and look at this. BDD just hunts for a hook for Lens, using these disintegrates over and over again. Viper, was shooting Cuz and like took half of his health bar from a molten shield.
I'm not sure about.
Is that what just happened? That's insane.
I'm not sure about aiming, soloing this.
This
Elder.
Free, I guess.
If you didn't think it was game already,
yeah,
it is now.
It's even more game. So the fish is in the boat and it's not even moving.
Okay, so just a free Elder, just free everything for
That fish
KT.
is about to be served up for dinner.
Oh right, so we're about to
Being back into
so
both
it's on its way
lanes.
home. Like it's
we're
not only in
Hey,
the
Renekton TP
pulling
mid,
to the
any
harbor.
TP bot.
Oh god. Okay.
With a fresh catch.
Oh, already celebrating. It is a best of 3, right? So we'll need more fish than this if you want to actually take the series. Takes 2 fish in a best of 3.
Yeah, and I got a feeling that Hanwha is going to pick blue side, and maybe they'll get the fish.
Exactly.
And the fish is Annie.
The fish is easy to catch on the blue side. It's the same color as the ocean.
Oh, that's Elder. You can't outplay that.
Nope. Well, this next turret is going to be the first one to go down, I believe, unless Zeka's in trouble, as BDD gets his stun up. And they're not actually looking for a hard force. KT a little bit worried, I think, about making an
KT's
error.
playing this smart. They don't want the 5 versus 5.
Skeen dashing forward.
They don't want that.
There's a flash hook, and is not going to find it. But it's just a hook, just a flash. And so it's
Whoop, they missed Tibbers. Oh, there's a window now for Hanwha to do something.
Never mind.
They're holding on.
Yeah, this is an Elder fight, and Hanwha is still all alive. Kingen loses a bit of it. I mean, the burn is just absurd, honestly. Like, if you tag them with any damage, but they are still very, very low range, as we can see. So this whole siege scenario.
Honestly, KT should probably be waiting for the next Baron.
There's the Feather Storm. Hook will connect, and that is a dead Cassante. Cuz gets a turn at being the big tanky guy on the top side as these super minions start to stream in. The war of attrition. It's being lost here by Hanwha. And yeah, the Vi is going to go down as she's telling them to cease and desist. Emperor's Divide is going to be baited out by Keen so beautifully. Oh, the polymorph is gorgeous onto Cuz. I don't know whether it's really going to be enough here as, oh, Viper, he's burning, but he's going to be all right.
Still alive.
Oh, he flashed? Uh-oh. Keen, you overplayed your hand, buddy.
And Viper is an absolute hero.
Damn.
Look at this man. He is a
He's
god.
trying so hard. The fish is fighting back.
Oh,
Such an awkward
like
siege. Yeah, I mean, look.
Oh my god.
They're not a very long-range composition, right? It's hard for them to actually knock down these, and they don't want to get engaged on and have Zeri just completely, clean them up. I do appreciate KT is playing this composition extremely well. They know their limits, even if they're this far ahead, that they shouldn't overplay their hand. Except at the end when Keen definitely should have tried to flash there.
If KT had hit like a Tibbers or an earlier hook on a relevant target, they could have ended the game right here.
That's such a good wild growth too. Such a good wild growth on the Viego engage.
Life's polymorph timings has just been
Oh,
beautiful.
and like aiming going in there and then this flash from
Good
Viper.
preemptive flash from Viper.
My God.
I mean, they lose 2 inhibitors and 2.
Nice play.
So,
It's not
I
gonna
mean,
game.
Hammer's
That's
probably going to die.
Yeah, huge wild growth.
But still, that was full passive play.
They're still 9k gold behind Atlas.
But they have a scaling composition, I'll have you know, Chronicler. They may
It's
have
fine. You just get the Baron. It's okay. This is what they actually need to finish the game. You know, the Elder Dragon is nice and all, but they need the extra pushing power from the minions to finish this.
In the car is already pretty.
Have you seen a movie called Finding Nemo?
I have.
All right, Flash Tibbers back up.
The majority of the time.
No, the fish, the other fish in the dentist office.
All right, that's true.
They got out.
Yeah, okay. That did happen. However, I don't know whether this game is like a Disney movie. I think it's more like a...
I think it is for KT. I think Lahens is actually the main character. Surely this time they'll
all right, we're just waiting.
Right?
We're just waiting.
Okay, well, there's the flash forward from BDD. And Bear goes down and Clid is once again dead. And now Tibbers is battling against a Sun Disc. As KT will back away. I mean, they do this getting the pick onto Clid part of it very, very well.
Yeah, they've done that once already.
Yeah.
That part is great.
Uh-huh.
Are they really not going to push the end? Are they just going to
We need to wait for the minion wave.
Well, I was going to say for Elder.
Oh, wait for Elder? No, I don't think we do that. I think we maybe just going to hit the next.
Maybe we just end.
Yeah. I mean, 4 versus 5. Everfrost.
Very good patience from KT, though.
Viper is hopping over the Nexus, but I think the Nexus
You love to see it.
Good hook is going to connect. That is a dead area.
You love to see a team composition played properly, teams having discipline in order to enact their win condition, not over pushing. Go back, get the Baron, ensure you win. Baron is more important to you with this comp. Awesome. Well, great game from KT.